All right, so some, and what does some mean on the LSAT?
Some meaning like about 0 to 50.
Okay, so some just means at least one.
Oh, okay.
So at least one video game makers have
Hmm.
sold the movie rights for popular games. However, okay, so we have at least one video game maker has just sold the movie rights for popular games. All right, so like they're just telling us that, hey, like if we made a popular game, like now they can maybe make a movie out of it. However, this move is rarely good from a business perspective. I read this and I'm like, well, why is it rarely good? After all, Star Quanta sold the movie rights to its popular game Nostrama, but the poorly made film adaptation of the game was hated by critics and the public alike. Subsequent versions of the Nostrama video game, although better than the original, sold poorly. All right, so is this an argument or a set of facts?
This is an argument
Yes.
because it has a conclusion at the very beginning and then it has like evidence to support
Yes.
it.
So what is our conclusion?
So some video game makers have sold. Wait. Okay, so I can't decide between however and some video games. But
Okay,
wait, can
so
I can I tell you like I'm gonna do the therefore test real quick and then I'll tell you which one's the main. Okay.
awesome. And
Yeah.
so, and this will go over in the back to the basics videos too. So
Hmm.
this movie is really good from a business perspective because what part of the argument is this first sentence?
It's just like information, basic
Yeah, it's
information.
just background information. Like, hey, this is what happens. Can we argue with a
Hmm.
fact? These video gamers, they're not trying to convince us that these video game makers sold the movie rights, right? Like,
Hmm.
that's just true. Excellent. So our conclusion is this move is rarely good for a business perspective. And can you paraphrase for me what is their reasoning for why this move is rarely good? Why does this person think it's rarely good for a business from a business perspective?
Okay, so sorry, I'm also taking notes. Okay, so basically, they don't think that it's a good from a business perspective. They give an example about Sar Quanta and them selling their rights, and then like how it did not work out for them overall because it was like
Mhm.
pure, it was poorly made and it sold poorly.
Excellent. And then the subsequent versions are sold poorly as well. All
Hmm.
right. So is this a valid argument?
Yes.
You okay, so what does a valid argument mean?
It has like it's supported by.
100% like it's rock solid, right?
Oh, okay.
Well, a
Yes.
valid argument means it's 100% rock solid. So if I said I live in Ohio, therefore I live in the United States,
Hmm.
that means that's like a rock solid argument, right?
Hmm.
But is this move is rarely good from a business perspective? Is this 100%? Would you say that this is backed up with
Mm-mm.
100% certainty?
No, because they only give one example, and plus, like, yeah, I would say it's not.
Okay. So what we want to do is every time we read one of these arguments, whether it's
Hmm.
sufficient assumption, strengthen, weaken, flaw questions, we want to destroy this. We want to be extremely
Okay.
critical and think of maybe things that they're assuming here or
Hmm.
things they're not considering. So
So
like why
creating a loophole,
might
basically.
what?
Creating a loophole, basically.
Yes.
Hmm.
But I'm okay with you just like being like more creative than
Hmm.
loophole in the sense of like, why is this really good from a business perspective? Well, just because it happened this one time does it mean that like they didn't make money off of it.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, cool. So this is a flaw question, which we kind
Hmm.
of already did this. So once I now know my conclusion, I kind of
Hmm.
like paraphrase my reason.
Yeah.
I see it's a flaw question. This is like
Hmm.
when I kind of predict my answer, which we just did.
Okay.
We said
Uh-huh.
like this is just like one example isn't a good enough sample
Hmm.
size, or just because it was hated by critics in the public doesn't mean like they didn't make money off of it and it wasn't a good decision, right?
Yeah. Like
All
it
right.
could have been a good decision for another
Yes,
company.
excellent. All right, so go ahead and walk me through these answer choices. And like what I like to do is love it, leave it, hate it. So if
Okay.
I love it, I
Hmm.
kind of like start. I'm like, oh, I really like that. If I'm not sure, or if I don't want to spend time digesting it in the moment, I leave it. And if I know for 100% that it's wrong, I cross it off. And I go into every answer choice thinking that it's wrong, just FYI.
Okay.
So
Two.
go ahead and read the answer choices and tell me if you love it, leave it, or hate it.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just taking notes. Um, Love it, leave it, hate it, you said?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So A draws a general conclusion on the basis of just one individual case. Okay, so I like that. I'm gonna leave that. I left it at
Huh?
the like when I was first doing it as well. Infers that a product will be disliked by the public merely from the claim that the product was disliked by critics. That's not what they claimed. They just like said that it was hated by critics and the public alike. They didn't say that it will be. Like they already stated in the stimulus that it already was hated by critics.
What,
So they're just like
what does the word infers mean on the LSAT?
infers means like they're predicting.
Okay, so it actually is even stronger than that. It means conclude.
Okay.
Infer means to conclude, which I feel like all my life was a lie because they always told me that to infer was an educated
Yeah.
guess. Nope. On the LSAT, it means so it concludes that a product will be disliked by the public just because the product was disliked by the critics. Like, no, we don't
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
conclude that. So it's definitely not B.
yeah. Okay, yeah. So that's not what they're saying. Like just because it happened in one case, like we said, like
Mhm.
okay, so restates that's I cannot think of what flaw it is right now, but like that's basically where like the circular reasoning,
Yes,
it's
and
not
it's
it. They
hardly
didn't do that.
ever. That's probably hardly ever the correct answer,
Yeah.
right?
They didn't do
Excellent.
that. And like it would be circular reasoning if they kept like restating how it was like sold poorly and then they like stated it again, but they didn't do that. They just said
Yeah,
like,
this move is really a good move from a business perspective because it wasn't a good
yeah.
because this isn't a good business decision or something like this. Like,
Yeah.
excellent.
Okay. And then takes for granted that products with similar contact that are different in different that are in different media will be of roughly equal popularity. I don't think that does that at all. Like
What
I
is
don't like
take for
this.
granted mean?
Takes for granted means that basically like okay, I can't put it into words, but it's basically like
It assumes,
it
right?
doesn't it doesn't
It
Okay.
assumes that products with similar content that are in different media will be of roughly equal popularity. Do we ever assume that?
No.
No, an equal is such a strong word. So it's definitely not D.
Okay, and then treats a requirement for a product to be popular as something that ensures that a product will be popular. So that's what I actually ended up picking. And I don't think it does this at all. Like, it's not saying, like, oh, if it's popular, then like it's going to be popular. Like, it's not
What kind
saying
of
that.
law is this in LSAT terms?
Hmm, a product to be popular is something that ensures. Like, if it's meant, like, if it's the case, then it's definitely the case. I've heard of this law, I just cannot think of the name.
It's actually going to be a conditional flaw.
Okay.
Do you see how this could be?
Yes, because if you're treating something, then you're like ensuring, yeah, I can see it. But like,
So
I
it's
was out of conditional as
something,
like if then.
yeah, there it's okay. So it teaches a requirement for a product to be popular. So this would
Mm-hmm.
be a necessary condition, right? Takes a
Okay.
requirement for a product to be popular. So what is a requirement for a product to be popular? What would it be in this situation? I'm trying to
A
think.
requirement to be
Um,
popular. So it would be um not selling your rights for
I actually
popularity.
don't even know what I would fill in here.
Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
either.
So like that so this is a great like if we can't even fill it in, but it's it
Yeah.
kind of says it's taking a requirement, so it's taking a necessary condition
Okay.
and acting as if we have that condition,
Then
it
it'll ensure.
guarantee that it'll be successful.
Mm-hmm.
So it's taking a necessary condition and acting as if it's sufficient. That's what
Okay.
the answer choice is saying.
Okay.
And so our answer would be A.
Okay.